Today we are going to read the book R-E-S-P-E-C-T, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, and it's by Carole Boston Weatherford and art by Frank Morrison. Do you know who that is? I'm going to take off the dust cover because the outside of this book has a different image than the dust cover. I love this. It says Queen of Soul. So this book came out in August 2020, so it's not very old. And I'm interested to know if you are aware of who this is about, if you know who Aretha Franklin was. See that car, R-E-S-P-E-C-T? It's a kind of an old school car, isn't it? From the 60s. We don't see many like that today. And it says, to Kara and Jordan, always have a song in your soul. And that was by our author. Let me look at her name again. Carole Boston Weatherford. And then the illustrator, Frank Morrison, says, to my two extraordinary divas, Nia and Tiffany, be good, be great. I like that picture there. Looks like those kids are playing some sort of game. Hide and go seek or tag or something. I don't know. Now, something I like about this book is it does spell out all the words. So I'm going to spell the word and then I'll say it for each one. B-L-E-S-S-E-D. Blessed. Cradled by the church, rocked by an ebony sea, Aretha says a little prayer each night on bended knee. So here's Aretha when she's a little girl. She would say a prayer at night. She was blessed. D-E-T-R-O-I-T. The Franklins moved north from Memphis, Tennessee. They put down roots and rise like a mighty tree. Oh, I love that illustration. Look at that. How might you rise like a mighty tree? What might that mean? Would that mean like grow and get better and improve and just, evolve over time? So they moved from Memphis, Tennessee to Detroit, Michigan. And so if you're familiar with that area, you know that Memphis is in the south more and Detroit is in the north. So very different during this time period too. Because I know we don't know the exact time right now, but we're talking about before the Civil Rights Movement, where really, Dr. Martin Luther King, fought for equal rights for everyone and lots of other leaders as well. So just remember that this is a different time period than where we're living right now. M-U-S-I-C, hands clapping gospel, the Franklin's pedigree, parents, children, praise the Lord in stirring harmony. So gospel music is a type of music, is a genre that people listen to. Do you like gospel music? Have you ever listened to it before? It says it's the Franklin's pedigree, like that's like the best thing that they do. And they would sing. So they would sing and praise their Lord. S-T-R-I-F-E, strife. Clarence and Barbara Franklin can't seem to agree. Daddy wasn't faithful, so Mama chose to flee. So look, here's that same image from before. Let's look at it here. So it's the same thing, except the mom is gone now. So it's a dad by himself with those 4 kids. And I know everybody's family looks different, but I know our families also affect how we grow up and what we think and what we feel. So that's got to be a huge impact. What's your family like? You know, everybody's family is different. So what your image of a family might look like is totally different from someone else's. But all of those things kind of make us who we are and can either give us extra challenges or struggles that we have to work through. Gifted, gifted. Young, gifted, Black, Aretha hears a melody. Then she plays the tune by ear, plinking perfectly. I like that. That's some alliteration there, plinking perfectly. So that is something that not a lot of people can do. They can just hear a song and then play it without seeing the music or learning it. That is pretty gifted. EXAMPLE, example. Her preacher father fights for rights in his community. Other leaders visit to voice a common plea. So there's that equality we're talking about. It says he's fighting for his rights. TALENT, talent. Young Aretha solos soar with artistry. Her wise father senses his daughter's destiny. So that's pretty interesting. Her dad could hear her singing. Looks like she is singing maybe in her church. I don't know. But her dad can see that she's so talented and that this is going to be something that helps his daughter. Do you have a talent that you think is going to benefit you one day? I know sometimes some of our talents might even be something that people say is maybe not something that's good about us right now. Like maybe you're somebody at school, like me, that likes to talk a lot. That is going to be a great thing probably for you one day, but you also need to learn how to control it today so that you don't get in trouble like during class, you know. But that could be a talent too, because not a lot of people are willing to speak up to other people. Or maybe that's part of your leadership quality. So what kind of talent do you have? DEBUT, debut. 14, recording live and nervous as can be. She cuts a gospel album, gives God the victory. So debuts mean like when you like appear or start something. So she made her first album when she was 14. That's not too much older than you, is it? That's pretty young. So she's got her gospel music. Oh, here's another picture of that. VOICE, voice. Aretha's voice resounds with color and clarity, spanning 3+ octaves. The maestros all agree. So I know we're not going to talk about octaves and sound energy or anything like that, but we're talking about her different levels of being able to sing and, you know, the different notes that she's able to hit. And all of that plays in with our sound energy. She is finding ways to produce that sound in different ways for beauty and for her talent. GROOVE, groove. Aretha finds her groove when she's rockin' R&B. No woman of her time has more chart toppers than she. So before she was singing gospel music, and now she's going into R&B. So it's a little bit different kind of music. So she's got another genre that she sings. Here she is performing. You can see the crowd there. I love this. Feathers. RIGHT. For the civil rights movement for racial equality, Aretha raises funds and gives concerts for free. I love this image, how all these people that are fighting for equal rights, for civil rights, are in it, and it's in black and white, and then she's in color singing. So, you know, this is during the civil rights movement in the 1960s. And Are you seeing any of that same kind of thing playing out today? Are you seeing people trying to fight for equal rights for all different races, all different groups of people? It's not even just about race anymore. So it's interesting that this is still an issue, but that she used her voice to try to help spread the word and try to make change. Do you recognize anybody in these pictures? Someday we'll all be free. And these are signs. It looks like picketers, people that are I shouldn't say just picketers, but people who are protesting. This is better schools. We shall overcome. We demand equal rights. We march for, oh my gosh, I can't see what that is. But these are all things supporting the civil rights movement. You can also tell that Aretha's growing up. I mean, she's an adult now, and you can kind of tell the time period is a little different by her hairstyle, just the way that she's dressed, a little different from the beginning when she was a little girl. Great. Aretha is crowned as the Queen of Soul, our own royalty. She wins awards and accolades, and more than 1 degree. So in our country, you guys know that we don't have a monarchy, but we have given different celebrities and groups of people maybe different names. So she is called the Queen of Soul. I mean, she is not officially like born into that like a queen would be, but it's just to say she has won a lot of awards and she has had a lot of achievements in this area of music that is what she's been called, the Queen of Soul. Proud. When the first Black president is sworn into history, the Queen rejoices, with my country, 'tis of thee. So Aretha Franklin sang My Country 'Tis of Thee at Barack Obama's inauguration. And that was in 2008. Sweet land of liberty. So this is the inauguration. Here's the Capitol building, all the people there. I know I watched that on TV. HUMBLE. Aretha tours her queendom, get it instead of kingdom, queendom, from sea to shining sea. But in Detroit, down to earth, she's just known as Riri. Let me read that again. I said it a little differently. Aretha tours her queendom from sea to shining sea. But in Detroit, down to earth, she's known just as Riri. So that's kind of interesting too. I know I've seen that with famous people before that, they might be famous, they might be well known, but with their people at home, they're just plain old people that they've always been. So Aretha was just Riri there. I love that. I also have a friend that's her nickname, so that makes me smile. RESPECT. The Queen of Soul blessed us with a golden legacy, but she would probably call it the gift that God gave me. I don't know if you know this or not, but the RESPECT, that's one of her most famous songs. That's why this book has all of these words spelled out to describe Aretha Franklin, because it's giving reference to one of her most famous songs. And we're going to go ahead and read the author note here, because that was the end of the story. It says, Aretha Franklin, 1942 to 2018. Aretha Franklin was a singer, songwriter, pianist, and civil rights activist. Hailed as the Queen of Soul, she was born into a religious and musical family in Memphis, Tennessee. In 1944, the Franklins moved to Detroit, Michigan. There, her father, Clarence, a gospel singer known as the man with the $1 million voice, became the pastor of New Bethel Baptist Church. Her parents separated when Aretha was 6, and her mother, Barbara, also a gospel singer, died 4 years later. So her mom passed away when she was 10. She'd already moved out of the house, but we don't really know much about that part of her story too, but that is sad. As a girl, Aretha learned to play piano by ear and sang with her sisters in the church choir. Touring the gospel music circuit with her father, she met singers Clara Ward and Mahalia Jackson and civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. At age 14, Aretha recorded her first album, Spirituals. The music industry took notice, and by age 18, Franklin had landed a contract with Columbia Records. She later signed with Atlantic Records, where she recorded a parade of rhythm and blues, that's R&B, hits, including the song Respect. In 1980, she joined Arista Records, where her sales figures continued to earn her gold records. With 88 hit singles, Franklin is one of the best-selling music artists in history. She was also one of the first African-American artists to cross over and achieve success on both the R&B and pop charts. Basically, everybody knew her music, not just people that listened to that genre of music. Franklin was not just an artist, though, she was also an activist. During the 1960s, she performed at benefit concerts to support the civil rights movement and quietly donated funds to bail protesters out of jail. Franklin appeared on television variety shows, and her music has been featured on soundtracks for many television shows and movies. She also acted in 2 films, The Blues Brothers, 1980, and Blues Brothers 2000, 1998. Franklin had a powerful mezzo-soprano voice and a 3-octave vocal range. During one award show, she stood in for ailing opera star Luciano Pavarotti, astonishing everyone by singing the challenging aria Nessun Dorma. When she was in her 60s, Franklin studied classical piano with a teacher who had trained at New York's Juilliard School of Music. Oh, I love that. She was in her 60s and decided to study something at school. And it had to do with music, but it still studies. That's awesome. See, being a lifelong learner is something that everybody does. It's a great thing. In her spare time, the mother of 4 enjoyed cooking. Family and friends called her by her nickname, Riri. For many years, Franklin's fear of flying limited her touring. However, that diminished neither her fame nor her accolades. She sang during inauguration festivities for Presidents Carter and Obama. And Franklin scored numerous firsts, including becoming the first female inductee into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She was also inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. During her career, she received 18 Grammy Awards, the National Medal of Arts, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. For her lifetime achievements, Franklin was named a Grammy Living Legend. In 2010, Rolling Stone magazine named her as the greatest singer of all time. In Detroit, Franklin's adopted hometown, an amphitheater is named in her honor. That's really awesome. I am going to go ahead and read her chart toppers or her biggest hits to you, but I'm also going to link some videos in my description of the YouTube video, or if you're an Edpuzzle, I will put them in the notes. But go ahead and check out some of the videos. Get a sense of her singing. Do you agree? Do you think she's one of the greatest singers of all time, or the greatest singer of all time? I'm interested to see what you think. So chart toppers, Aretha Franklin's biggest hits. Respect, Baby I Love You, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You, Chain of Fools, Sweet Sweet Baby, Since You've Been Gone, Think, Share Your Love with Me, Don't Play That Song with the Dixie Flyers, Call Me, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Spanish Harlem, Daydreaming, Angel, I'm in Love, Until You Come Back to Me, That's What I'm Gonna Do, Something He Can Feel, Break It to Me Gently, Jump to It, Get It Right, Freeway of Love, I Knew You Were Waiting for Me with George Michael. So that's a lot of chart-topping hits. And then this last image of her. She's got her crown, the Queen of Soul. I hope you enjoyed this story, but I also hope that you listen to some of her music, listen to it, and tell me, do you agree? Do you think that she should have that title, the Queen of Soul? Do you know those songs that I just read? And think about what we're talking about with sound energy. How does her singing connect to that? So I hope you enjoyed this book and learned something about Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. That's it for me. Take care.
Peace.